Hello, everybody. I am Natasha Lane from the Netherlands, and we're here with Fernanda Lira from Brazil. First, the singer of Nervosa, and now in this new cool death metal band called Crypta. And their first album called Echoes of the Soul is going to be out the 12th of June on Napalm Records. Hi, Fernanda, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me here on the show. It truly means a lot. It's going to be a nice chat.
Yes, I hope so, probably. Yeah, the last time I saw you was in the role of a bathroom.
Yeah, really?
This is quite a different setting.
Definitely, definitely. I wish I was right now in a bathroom row, like after a show. Oh man, I really wish. I miss that so much.
Yes, that was what it was after the show in the bathroom. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I really missed that. Like when we started the pandemic, I thought, okay, it's gonna be a tough time, but I'll have some time to rest a little bit. Like I was very overwhelmed with touring, but now, like after 1 year and a half, I'm like dying to get on stage and get in a club and just, I miss it so much.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, hopefully we will see you with Crypta here soon too. And then
Yeah, we're planning, like we're definitely planning. We're sitting here at home, unfortunately, but we've been working a lot and it involves like a lot of planning. Like as soon as there's this green flag for tours, we'll just put our backpack on and just hit the road. Like we can't wait. But we're definitely planning on tours already.
okay, well, I will keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, let's start with the questions if you're ready.
sure.
Okay. So the first official music video is out of the song From the Ashes. How did it felt to be inside a dead coffin?
I get asked about it like a lot. Like, how did you feel? Like, was it weird? Like, did you find out you were claustrophobic or something? The thing is, it was really like fine because it was not like a real coffin, and the scenes were made like really quickly. So that part where they put like the coffin lid, it was like seconds, like 2 or 3 seconds, and the other part where it's like from the side and everything, we were using like a coffin where there was like no side, so it was like kind of opened, so it was fine. It was really fine. It looks like weird, but that's the magic of movies and cinema. Like it's always, it was like all these scenes were like super quick, and we didn't even have time to start feeling bad because it was really super quick.
Okay, nice. And can you explain a bit of the music video? What's all happening in the From the Ashes video?
Sure. When we first thought of having a video clip, we wanted it to be like cinematic, like a movie. That was the main idea. And if you want to have a video clip with that looks like a movie, you need a good story. And we came up with the idea because From the Ashes, the lyrics of the song, it talks about being reborn, like endings and beginnings. It talks about finishing a cycle. It talks about enduring hard times, and it talks mainly about that for every end there's a possibility for a new beginning. That's the main idea, and then people can interpret it according to their realities and background and perceptions. But that is the main idea. And we thought we wanted to have like something that was like poetic and philosophical, so it matched the lyrics, but also something like aggressive, graphic to match the music itself, and the genre, death metal. And then we came up, me and Luana, basically, our drummer, we had like very similar ideas. And then we came with this idea of like with all the coffin and the fire and everything. And the idea is basically, if you watch carefully the video, you'll see that we are actually burying ourselves. And that represents like the many times we need to figuratively or metaphorically die in order to be reborn to a new, better version. Like how many past version of ourselves, how many past beliefs, how many past experiences we need to bury like on our journey through life in order to evolve or to start all over. So the idea was basically it. We were burying our our past selves or past version of ourselves in order to like start over. And people, like many people, were like making a relation to our situation in Nervosa, but that was not because we left Nervosa and then we came back with Crypta. I mean, you can relate that, but that was definitely not the main idea. It was just like more in a general way, like life, like how many times, how many things we needed to leave behind in order to reach for something else or to start over or for a new beginning. So that's the main idea, but we just wanted it to look metal. That's why we used fire and all the chains and everything.
Okay, that's a great explanation. I totally understand it now.
Cool.
So I like to do a little mix of questions about Crypta and yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty spiritual. You studied for astrology and are into crystals and done some Reiki. How did this spiritual journey for you started and begin?
Yeah, you're spot on. I'm really like, I'm not religious, but I'm such a spiritualist person. Um, and it actually started like I've always been curious about all this stuff. Like my mom was like, in my family there were a lot of sensitive people and everything, so there were always like these stories and everything, and I was always like curious, but I never took it seriously until it was um a little over 3 years ago now, like by the end of 2017. I was like really in a not very well moment in my life. And I was like heartbroken and everything. It was like pretty bad. And a friend suggested that I tried ayahuasca, which is like an ancient medicine from like ancient
Yes.
indigenous people. And which is basically like a tea that, like makes you trip a little. and and it was like a very intense experience. I didn't like it very much because it was like too intense for me. But from there I started having like a different perception of life. And I started seeing like some psychic abilities like showing off, starting to, like to be more evident. And then I don't know, I just started like naturally feeling like more drawn to this kind of things. I'm learning about all this kind of things, about tarot, about crystals, and about herbs, and about astrology, and all of these things, like I oracles, all sorts of oracles and everything, and started studying about healing. That's why I started like studying Reiki. And yeah, I just felt like the same way I was like pretty sick, let's say, at the time. There were like many people in our society and around me that was also like needing to heal, or like. And then I thought maybe I can do like a small contribution to that. But it was all like very natural. It's not that I was like, I want to do this and this and that. It was all coming naturally to me. I was just more open. And yeah, more and more different interests started showing up. And that's how it basically happened. And it totally, and some people are like, but isn't it weird like having like all this spiritual thing, like crystals and healing, and playing metal, which is all like, no, because it's two different things, and there's room for everything in my life, honestly. Like, I don't need to exclude one thing to be able to welcome another. So there's room. I'm a very diverse person. Whoever knows me knows that I'm very diverse. I'm very open to new experiences and everything. So to me, there's room for everything without one messing up with another. So it's just two different stories.
Of course. And you mentioned the ayahuasca, but didn't you get very sick from that during the day?
Not during the day, but during the process, yeah, definitely. You have like you throw up and there's diarrhea, but it also depends on like each people. I have friends that used ayahuasca and they are like they don't feel anything, they don't see anything. And for me, it's too strong. I don't do it anymore. It was like I did it twice and it's just not for me, and because it's too strong, at least for me. So it really varies according to people and their experiences and their bodies. And I feel my body is it's too sensitive, so it was like very overly strong, let's say. So I'm fine nowadays.
Yeah, it's very heavy stuff from the stories that I have heard. Yeah,
It's heavy. I mean, it can be very enlightening, but it's also like pretty heavy, depending on the people. It's really you can. There's no one rule fits all. It really depends on everyone's body, I think. And also, I have like now I found out I have some mental health problems. I have anxiety, and I have some panic attack episodes. So I know that people healed from that, like some people, but for me, it just made it worse. So yeah, I'm fine.
whatever works, right?
Yeah.
And can we ever expect clean vocals from you? Probably not for Crypta, but I saw you singing Oprah, Nightwish, and Amy Winehouse, and so on. And that wasn't bad at all. So,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I love clean singing, although I know like I still have to improve a lot, but I just love it very much. I don't think in Crypta, as you mentioned, it would fit because it's just like, I mean, there's many bands that can be heavy and melodic at the same time. Ginger, for example, but we just don't see. I just don't see it happening for Crypta. We have like other. We aim for something else, but I definitely have like plans on having like a future project, but it would be like a solo project or a duo where I would sing with my clean vocals only, and I would do like probably blues and soul and jazz, just sing this kind of things because that's what I love to sing, in R&B and stuff like that. And but still, unfortunately, apparently I can never have the time for that. I'm always like, every time people ask me on interviews, I'm like, yeah, I want to do it, I just don't have the time. And then one of these days, a guy who had interviewed me previously, he was like, yeah, last time I talked to you, you said you would like to have a project. Where's this project? And I'm like, I still don't have the time. So it's just like, because I'm very intense. And whenever I want to do something, I need to be like 100% into that. I can do that like in a shallow way. I'm very, very intense with everything I do. And that's why I don't have the time right now. I'm like so focused on Crypta that I would love to have. Like, and I'm pretty sure if I sit for like a couple of days, I can write a whole like album, like blues or soul album. I'm pretty sure of that, but I just can't find the time. So I'll be patiently waiting. Like, this plan is never gonna leave my head. It's right here and it's right in my heart too. Eventually, it's gonna happen. I just need to find the right time. But I'm not in a rush. Even if I do it when I'm like on my 70s, I'll be happy if I'm doing it. So I'll be patiently waiting for the right time.
okay. Yeah, and Sonia can sing very well opera as well. So maybe you can start a symphonic metal band together
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I actually found that out when she started posting about it. I was really surprised. That's really cool.
Yeah, nice. And how would you describe Crypta in 3 words?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. Oh, uh, I'm not gonna be like very creative, but more talking about like the sound itself. I would say like hybrid death metal, because I mean we started off with a band saying, okay, let's do like old school death metal, and then when we started writing, we saw it was going like elsewhere, and we pretty much didn't know where it was going, like in death metal, and we still don't know because you can find so many different elements. There's old school death metal, but there's a little bit of modern, if you say, and there's like melodic death metal here and there, like with those epic melodies, but it's also very raw and aggressive at times. So I can't label the band, so I think I would say like hybrid death metal or something like that. Just because like there's a little bit of everything, you can't just label it.
Yeah, well, it sounds good to me. So the start of Crypta went pretty much online. You contact Sonia to join, and Tanya messaged you herself. So the first real Crypta meeting was in the studio in Sao Paulo in Brazil, right?
Yeah.
How was that? And what did Sonia, our Dutch girl, thought of Brazil?
Yeah. It was a very nice and intense experience, I must say, because we had like the whole COVID thing going on, like pretty strong. Not as strong as it is now, but it was still like hard. So we needed to be like, oh, in the same house and like pretty near the studio. We couldn't do like any tourism. I was dying to take Sonia, like to eat exotic fruits that we have here in Brazil, and like just show her around and show everyone around. But we just couldn't because of the pandemic. So it was a bit frustrating in this sense because I really wanted to have like Sonia have the whole Brazilian experience. I also wanted like our guitarist Tainá had never been to a beach before. So because where she lives, there's no beach around. Like in the state, she lives here in Brazil. So my plan was also to take her to the beach and just like make her see the ocean and the sand and like feel the vibe. But I just couldn't because of the pandemic. So it was like it could have been like way like more exciting, but we just didn't have the time and the chance because of the pandemic thing. But still, it was pretty cool. It was like the first it was it was really cool to actually have the chance to like blend and see how we actually are and see like the ways we can have fun and how everyone is like closely. It was really an enriching experience. It was really really cool, but still I really wish like I could do the full trip. Maybe next time they are here we will be able to do it. But I think Sonia liked it, but she could really notice the difference because like here in Brazil everything is like more chill and relaxed, and people are like yeah really really warm. And like whenever you want to buy some bread, people will say, yeah, thank you, God bless you, like, so we're very warm people. And she could really tell the difference. She was like, yeah, I can see like people are way more relaxed in here and everything. So yeah, but still, like, whenever we have the time, she'll get to know like real Brazil and all the beautiful scenery we have here, and it's gonna be cool. But she had like a little bit of the food. She liked it too. But yeah.
Okay, great. Well, probably you will tour there soon in Brazil as well, right? So
Yeah. As soon as this fucking nightmare is over, like we'll definitely have some more quality time together.
exactly. So I want to ask about your tattoos. I know you have
Mm,
Sepultura tattoo and King Diamonds and a Slayer tattoo on your hands. That's so cool. Uh,
thank you.
show the people that are watching your Slayer hands.
Sure. It's
Uh,
right here.
Yeah.
It's on the riff hand. It's right on the riff hand. Yeah, here it is. I don't know if people can see because of the lightning. Kind of sucks, but yeah.
Perfectly. Yes. Can you tell a bit about your tattoos?
I don't know like how many of them I have right now, but I have so many different ones. Most of them are pretty much related to music. At least this whole arm, I have like the Nervosa one right here. It's right here. I have Judas Priest here on, like on the, yeah, and also Edith Piaf written here, Je ne regrette rien, and there's also Kiss, and I'll just take it off because I really want to try and show them. So I have like Black Sabbath here too, and Iron Maiden, and Kiss, like the small, like, no, it's gonna be tough to show. But yeah, there's also Kiss, and there's Black Sabbath here with the little hammers from the wall. And this is one of my favorite ones right here. Is the evolution of mankind ending in DRI. I
Oh,
love I love this tattoo very much. One of my favorites, but also one of the most painful ones. And yeah, I have some movies tattooed here too, like Kill Bill, the bride from Kill Bill here. It's gonna be tough to see. And I have Amy Winehouse on one leg. I have King Diamond in another thigh. I have Beyonce also tattooed here. And what else? I have an alien here also on on my leg. I have Saturn, the planet, also here. So you see, it's a mess, my tattoos, but it's just a bunch of things that have some meaning to me. Like Saturn is my favorite planet, and once I was like in Costa Rica, we were touring, and I had an amazing meditation by the beach, and it there was something to do with Saturn. And then I got the chance to get a tattoo for free there. The guy was like, "Yeah, I just want to have you. I just want you to have a tattoo made here in Costa Rica. Let's do it." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna definitely gonna do Saturn." And then we did it like right before the show. It was really cool. So yeah, I have many different stories with my tattoos here. But yeah, most of them are related to music. They all have a meaning to me, and I love them. I love them. I feel like as if my arm is like just a bunch of, it looks like a vest full of patches. Like that's exactly how I feel because there's Iron Maiden and then there's many bands. So I feel as if my skin was a vest full of patches.
oh, yeah, that's so cool. Real dedication for the metal music.
Yeah, I just love it. It changed my life, and it's an important part of my life. So they will always be here, and they always mean so much to me.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I thought I was the only one who put a metal logo on my hands, but I'm not the only one.
No, I have many, many of them, and I think it's pretty fine. Like even if in the future you don't like the band very much at the same way as you did, but it was an important part of your story. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's your inspirations,
Mm-hmm.
that help
Definitely.
certain periods of your life. And yeah, that's all
Yeah.
it is. I'm band logos myself, so yeah.
Cool.
Back in the past, you have been a journalist. I know you
Yeah.
have interviews as well. Are there stories about that you can tell? And any favorite bands you have interviewed? I know you have done Mike Portney from Dream Theater.
Yeah. Oh man, that was like an amazing time of my life. I loved it so much. And I had to quit kind of because like things were getting really busy with Nervosa, but I just loved that. And I did everything you can imagine. I was a live photographer, I was like a band photographer. I did like concert reviews, album reviews, and then I started doing the interviews. And that was like the nicest part. I did some for like for Rock Brigade magazine, like an old school magazine we had here in Brazil, and some for for one of our biggest websites here, which is Whiplash. And then I had like a TV show. I was part of a TV show called Maloik, where I would interview like bands, or at least try to. And the last thing I did was being like a radio broadcaster, and in a program called, in a radio show called Heavy Nation. It was amazing. I had the chance to interview so many people. And yeah, I've interviewed like lots of people and lots of idols of mine too. I think I've interviewed DRI, Nuclear Assault, and so many bands. It's just so many of them, so many. Like Queensryche and Michael Kiske and Kai Hansen. It's so many. Like probably like nearly 100. And but I think the biggest like names I gotta interview, like when I say big, it's not according to my preference, but you know, like in the scene that everyone knows, it was Phil Anselmo. I got the chance to interview him once. And also Kerry King from Slayer, like he called me home and I interviewed. It was like crazy. So yeah, but I've interviewed like so many people with throughout the years, so many people. I've been posting like some. I'll keep on posting there because people like seem to love that. But I just interviewed so many bands, Suffocation and what else? Obituary and Napalm Death and uh, it's just like a bunch of bands. But I interviewed many bands and I loved it. It was so cool. One of the coolest guys was definitely Michael Kiske. The interview was so light. And I also had the chance to interview Girl School, which are like some of my main inspirations. And Doro Pesh, I also interviewed Doro Pesh and Alyssa Glosswhite when she was in The Agonist. I also had the chance. Yeah, so it's a huge list, a huge list, but it was really cool. Like an amazing time, an amazing time.
Oh, amazing. And you mentioned the guitarist of Slayer. Have you seen your hands of the Slayer tattoo?
I no, because like it was a phoner, and I don't think I had the tattoo by the time I interviewed him. Otherwise, I would definitely have mentioned, hey, so just before we wrap up, I just have Slayer in my riff hand. But I don't think I had the tattoo back then. It was like a long time ago.
Okay. And you also been an English teacher. For how long you have been a teacher?
Oof, for like over 10 years. Like I started off when I was like 15, helping like little kids and everything, where I was studying English. And then like I stayed on this school for like teaching there for like a while. And then I started teaching like private classes. And then I also needed to quit because of how busy Nervosa was. And wow, my English was amazing back then. Nowadays, like I mean, it's fine English, but I don't get the chance to speak it every day, so it kind of decreased a little the quality of it. But it was cool also. Like I loved teaching. Like I would teach mostly teenagers, and I wasn't like that old too. I was like on my 20s or like on my when I was like 18. So it was really cool. I had a lot of fun, and now I see, and it's like I love like passing knowledge ahead, and it felt just really fulfilling that, you know, like I could help other people speak another language, and some of them like are working like in big companies nowadays because of the English like I was teaching them. So it was really cool, fulfilling. It was just a lot of fun, but I had to quit too because of the band.
Okay, and now you also do voluntary work for cats. A lot of different kind of things you have done and do.
Yeah. I still like I've done so many volunteering all over my life. I also taught English like as a volunteer for a while. I've done so many things, and I still do. Like every month I do like some charity things. I'm always donating. Like this month I donated like I I did like a virtual an online chip in so people could help me like afford some stuff for a family that was in a real need here, and sometimes I pay people's rent, and I'm just trying to do like all sorts of stuff. I was also doing like Reiki on people, like for homeless people, like for a while. And then now the current thing is just with the cats. Yeah, I go there like taking care of abandoned cats in a park nearby. So I pet them, I feed them, I clean their little tiny houses, and yeah, I just love doing that. I just love serving. Like it's a big important part of my life to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So the first two songs are out, and like the title says, the song Starvation is about starvation, and From the Ashes is about the story of the phoenix. Please tell us a bit about the first songs that are out musically and lyrically.
From the Ashes, again, it's a tale. It's about a tale of the phoenix, but also about endings and beginnings. And we thought of choosing this song as the first one because we thought it was like the most complete one. Because in there you have basically all the elements you will hear throughout the album. You will listen to throughout the album. So we just thought it was like the most complete song. And as for Starvation, it's like a raw, aggressive, like straight on kind of song. And we just wanted to show people that there's going to be a balance. It's not going to be like all epic and melodic as the first one, but there's also going to be like this raw, fast-paced music. And there's going to be another single to be released soon before the album is out, which is completely different from the two previous ones. It's just so people can see how diverse the album will be. Basically, yeah. And Starvation, yeah, it's a bit of a protest song because I need it. It wouldn't be an album by Fernanda Lira if there wasn't like a little bit of protest going on. So it's a protest song, but written in a more philosophical, like poetic way. Um, so yeah, and it talks about starvation, like there's like a billion people who go to bed every day like starving, and I just wanted to make people think about this. And to write that, I actually studied a lot. Like I researched on some articles and interviews with people who actually starved, and from my own family. Like I have family members who starved, and so I just wanted to have like their word on this, so it could be like really a realistic kind of song.
All right. And you're
Yeah.
always,
Uh,
yes?
just like cutting a little, I'll probably have to hang up real shortly because like I have another interview. I don't know like if people notice, but I have.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, you can shortly answer. It's no problem.
Sure, sure. Okay.
You're always expressive about politics, especially in interviews. Will some of the new songs be about that too?
Uh, yes, and not exactly politics, but about society. Like there's definitely like starvation is a protest song about how society is, like the inequality and like how the system actually makes people starve. So that's one of the songs. And I have a couple of other songs that are kind of like social political too, like Bloodstained Heritage, that talks about the miscegenation process here in the Americas when the colonization process was going on. That was like terrible, like a lot of blood and violence. So it's a critic about this. And also, there's a bonus track we're going to be releasing in Japan that's called I Resign. And it talks about resignation syndrome, which is like a syndrome that only affects, so far, children of refugees. And it's a state where the kids get into a comatose state. They get into a coma because it's just too overwhelming that, like the whole situation they're living about migrating and being refugees and all the violence that institutional violence that comes with it. So there's going to be like some lyrics that are more political, social, but written in a more different way, like in a more poetic, philosophical way, just to make people actually stop and think about that and not only just be like arguing, screaming about it, but definitely it's going to be there.
All right. And I had an interview with Old Drake of Eval 2 weeks ago. And when I watched the fan contest video, I saw him. How did you end up being a part of it?
I mean, I was not friends with Ulrich before that, but I saw like many people. We just put the contest there, and then we asked people to actually send the videos, and then like I saw many people talking about him, and then I watched the video. I was like, yeah, that's him right there, and then we started talking. There's a little something we might be doing together, also like for the future. But he's such a cool guy, really supportive, and it meant a lot to me and to the girls that he was there. Like we were definitely not we were not expecting that, like fellow musicians and like guys from like super well-known bands such as Eval will be there, and then we were like surprised and really happy. So yeah, and he's such a nice guy.
So cool, yeah. So he signed up himself for this video.
Yeah, he did. Like, well, Sonia was the one who was editing the video, and she was like, "Man, the guy from Eval just sent the video." We were like, "Ah, mind blowing! That's so cool."
Oh, nice. Well, my last question. How did you come up with the title of the album, Echoes of the Soul?
It was like a struggle. It was not easy because like we had so many different titles, and we ended up like choosing the words we liked the most, and echoes and soul were definitely some of them. And then I think it was Taina who actually suggested this name, Echoes of the Soul, and we thought it would fit pretty well to the whole theme of the album, the lyrical stuff I talk about there, because like every song in there in the album is deeply connected and related to a core belief I have, or a core process I needed to go through, or like really intimate deep things, and which are like talk directly to my soul. So I think every song in there is an echo straight from my soul. I know it sounds philosophical, but that's what we feel it is.
Okay, well, I think that's a perfect ending of the interview with those words. Thanks,
Thank you.
Fernanda. And one thing I like to ask, can we take a picture together for the thumbnail of the...
Of course, definitely.
Okay, thank you so much, Fernanda. And I want to wish you luck with your debut album. I'm sure it's going to be a success.
Thank you. See you on the row, and maybe on the bathroom row again. I can't wait for that. Thank you. And thank you. It was a very nice interview. You really did some research. That means a lot. That's really cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. And good luck with the rest of the interviews today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, Fernanda.